first memory, we had 2 white ponies in our backyard, and my mom would take my brother and I. She would walk to one end of the paddock with us bareback on the ponies. We'd get to the end of the paddock. She would unhook the lead ropes. She would walk to the other end of the paddock and she would cluck. And the ponies would run across the paddock. And we'd be little kids bareback, no bareback pad or anything, just with the mane and everything. I look back, that was like real riding. All you had was feeling the horse, because there's nothing in the way. There's no leather, there are no jumps, there's no arena, there's nothing. It was just riding. I think riding is kind of a sensory extension. You feel things differently. It's a very meditative process while you ride. You know, you feel your horse, you feel, you know, when the cantle moves a certain way, you feel it. When your knee moves a little bit differently, you feel it. You feel the horse, you can feel their heartbeat. You just feel your horse. I wish there was a more eloquent way to say it, but it's almost spiritual when you just have to ride. You know, you kind of just forget the human reason why you're riding and you just ride. I think with anything there's positives and there's negatives. You know, I think when you have that deep connection and you really feel for your horses, it can in some ways be limiting. You know, if you feel that your horse isn't feeling right, and you feel that, you know, not just like in, you know, sensory, but you feel it, and I might not show. You could consider that limiting, but for me it's not necessarily limiting. You know, you don't have the peaks and valleys that you see a lot of people have with their horses, where you see them, they're just firing and they're just jumping clear and you're just like, what are they doing? But then a couple months later, you're like, where's that horse? You know, like the horse behind me, you know, I bought her at 9, she's 14 now, she's had no injuries. I think there's something special about working with animals. I get that's something cheesy to say, but I think if you're sensitive enough and you're open enough with yourself, I think there's something human about the connection. I can feel, you know, some days I might just not be feeling right. I felt like I was doing everything right, but my horse wasn't understanding. You know, if you're real with yourself, you see, look, I wasn't communicating properly. And for me, that's something really human. So having that honest rapport with something where when you're doing things right, it works, when you're doing things wrong, it doesn't. And having that every day, there's nothing I can see that would make a human better than having something that honest. You know, for me, that's why I can't do something else.